We are survivors of the war. We come back to you, our people. And we are survivors of the war. We shared to wait you back. We walk for legs now gone, or lockstep still. We gaze for other eyes now only looking inward. We listen soft for comrades locked in silence. If we have minds less spent, we share unbending. And we who still care life now share this caring memory, that others not forget the dead who have no voice but us.
So, looks like we're in for part 2 of this absolutely fascinating show. Welcome again to another segment of Vet House Voice as we continue. Take me up on that one, yeah. Welcome to another segment of Vet House Voice as we continue to outreach, educate, and chronicle events and activities of concern and interest to veterans, affected family members, and the caring community. If you're interested, give us a call at 916-924-1008. I have to jump in on this one because Michael did such an excellent job interviewing Art. We're going to go to a 2-shot and catch us both smiling at the camera. That one. Welcome home again.
Thank you so much, David, man.
You ever do a one-hand clapping? So I was really fascinated, not just in listening to your conversation with Michael, fascinating in listening to your conversation with you.
Thank you.
You are demonstrating pride, honor, and dignity, so you're sharing your experience, strength, and hope. Those are like good bud words.
Yes, they are.
Buzzwords, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So he covered a lot of your early life. What you and I have in common is I come from a Catholic Jew background.
Mm-hmm.
You come from a Muslim with Catholic
Yes.
on the side.
Yes.
Yeah, I went to a Jesuit prep school. I was a kid of the streets. And here we are. We have the commonality first of veteranness.
Yes.
Thank you again for service.
Thank you. Thank you for your service as well.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm talking to a younger me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up, I grew up watching the Vietnam War on TV, and in the 60s and 70s, and I sympathize and empathize, and I'm proud of the Vietnam veterans.
Yeah.
They didn't get a fair shake when they got home, but those of us that were young, we were very proud of you all.
The Afghan, Iraq, the non-combat veterans don't get a fair shake because people say, well, you're not like a real veteran. A veteran is a man or a woman who has served in the uniform of their country 182 days, which is 2 more than 180 days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fascinated because I've been to Pakistan, I've been to India, and to see it as a foreigner, you kind of went back as a foreigner when you went there.
Yeah, I was treated as an American, even though I looked like them. They never considered me
No, you look
Pakistani.
you look like about 15 varieties of Americans.
Yeah, I was just because how do you define an American overseas? It's our language, it's our voice, it's our accent. And so whether I'm in Berlin...
It's more than that.
And our attitude.
There is an esprit
Yes.
that goes along. And you get 2 or 3 Americans together. Well, try it if you get 2 or 3 drunk Americans together. Boy, you've got a cultural panoply. I'm going to tell a brief story, and then I'm going to do the rest of the time listening to you to explain your side of it. The woman who came up to me in 1949, I was 9 years old. I was born just about a year before World War II. I got Jap beat, chink bashed, gook shoved, and all that stuff when I was little. And she came up and she had stereotypically like the media was portraying at the time. She had protruding front teeth, she had thick glasses, and she had rickets, so she was bow-legged. And she came up, and her smile went to a solemn face, and she said, "Oh, you're not full Japanese." I'm not any Japanese, but I just stood there. I was 9 years old. And she looked and she said, "Because you're this and that does not make you half and half. You belong to both. It makes you a double." And I looked at her, and she put her hand on my shoulder, and she said, "I want to tell you, you don't belong to these people. You don't belong to these people. You're like the wind. You go everywhere. You belong everywhere." And she said, "When you meet another child of the wind, tell them hello." So, to you, hello.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. That was such a wonderful share that you just gave. I hadn't heard that before, and I think that's a beautiful way to look at it.
Share it to your grandkids.
I will. Macy and Madeline, and my daughter Crystal. I
and
will share
Julia's
with
going
them.
to say, "What is that old guy talking about?" My granddaughter.
Well, we understand that because not only are we vets, but a lot of veterans are very experienced of being overseas.
Yeah.
They've been exposed to different cultures. They've been changed by their experience overseas. And when they come back, what they were before they left, they've actually become that children of the wind. And
do you remember when you went to Pakistan and you're like a teenager and I don't belong here?
Oh, they were told me that I didn't belong here. Yeah, I was like an ugly American, you know.
Disregarding your face or your language ability, you're multilingual.
Yeah.
And the food susceptibility, I think you're probably susceptible to Punjabi cooking.
Yes, Punjabi cooking is good. I grew up with it even in Willows,
Yeah, yay for meeple.
Right, exactly. But I think as an American who was raised by a Muslim family, those of us that are Muslim vets, we have an extraordinary obligation to be of service to our country and to serve the country and to be an example, a good example for other young Muslim men or women who should join the military.
So your branch of Islam is Sufi.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to ask you, have you been to Turkey?
I haven't been to Turkey.
I have one up on you because
Yes, you
I
did.
went to the birth of the Prophet in God, what is the town? It's outside the Bursa. It's outside Bursa.
Okay.
And then I went to the mosques to watch the Sufi that were meditating, the dervishes.
Right.
And I thought, this is so cool. I want a white robe and I want to get up there and do that stuff. And I was already grown up. I thought, what a diversity there is. So it's something you ought to do in your religion is go visit the mosque.
Well, that's something that I try to do, educate veterans and people in the U.S. and even abroad, that Islam is it's many different forms of it. There's radical sides and there's a very passive, loving, forgiving sides of the religion. It depends on how you interpret the book. Just like the Bible, if you're a Christian, there's many kinds of Christians, and there's Catholics, Protestants, various Protestants.
252 denominations in America, 30,000 specific different sects, S-E-C-T-S.
Yeah, and the same thing with Muslims. They're that subdivided. Sufis are more of the Buddhist, Jesuit type of Muslims. They're more spiritual, more introspective. Love is a big part of what they're supposed to do, and forgiveness. And then you have on the other end of the spectrum, the Salafis and Wahhabis that can be very rigid, fundamentalists.
Conservative evangelicals.
Conservative evangelicals, even sometimes militant, like the KKK or neo-Nazis.
Those aren't even religion, although they make it into a religion. So we went up to this East Indian restaurant, which we just both incidentally happen to like, and I started going up there because, and then I took a couple days ago, I took a friend up there. I've known her 28 years in a specific fellowship, and I said, "Who are those people over there with the turbans?" And she said, "Well, they're Muslim." And I said, "No, they're Sikh." Mm-hmm. And she said, "What are they seeking?" I said, "They're seeking Sikhdom." And the whole point of that, no matter how much our education and exposure, unless we are open-minded, we don't know who the hell our neighbors are. And the point of that was, first you look at the person. If it's by color and gender that you can identify people, make it a positive experience. When I was in Vietnam, they sent me out on my last mission, 2-star general, round eye, said, "We'll send the dink out, he doesn't get blown away." Mm-hmm. Dink is the same as chink or nigger. Mm-hmm. We'll send the dink out, he doesn't get blown away. Mm-hmm. And when my brother was killed, they said, "Oh, it's just another dead dink." And one of the politicians running wanted a Purple Heart, and I thought, you son of a bitch. That'll probably get censored. You son of a bitch. My brother came home in a body bag from Vietnam. I brought him home, and all he had was a Purple Heart. It's not something you parade around with. It's something that you live.
Right.
Anyway, that's my soapbox for today. What events, socioeconomic, educational, experiential, what events made you the really kind of cool person to listen to?
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. That's very kind.
Oh, you must be Sufi. You're so humble.
Well,
or Minnesotan.
Well, yeah. I'm influenced by the Catholic Church in Willows. I'm influenced by my Christian friends that I grew up with in high school, and I'm influenced by the Muslim friends and family members I had, and I also studied a lot of religion. I've studied religion and philosophy and the Buddhist philosophies of the East. And so I think that there's a lot of, like the Dalai Lama had said, there's a lot of commonality between the religions. If we focus on the commonality of us as human beings and we emphasize those qualities in each other, we have a commonness of humanity. And that's what makes us as Americans great. And I think the military is a perfect example.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Right? The military is a great example of what the ideal American society is, because we have every ethnic, religious background in the military.
Integrated. By assimilation.
Yes.
And by regimentation.
Yeah, I can have an African American chief. I can have an Asian American lieutenant hopping in the plane. And I can have a Muslim American Marine defending us.
Although Muslim is not an ethnicity.
No, it's a religion.
I want to follow your stuff. So, Pakistan. I mean, what a history there. Lord Balfour, 1947-48.
Lord Balfour.
First, before, I'll do my side, then you can do a Lord Balfour. Mm-hmm. Israel and all those surrounding towns separated by drawing strings on a map. Mm-hmm. So then you would have the Jews and the Arabs, or the Israelis, and then the Arabs, and then, just divide and conquer. And so what happened in India in 1947?
Well, I think we're suffering from that era. The end of World War II was
it Lord Balfour?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, the end of colonialism.
Yeah.
Indonesia, Malaysia, India, Israel, Palestine, even Iraq, they were all British or Dutch colonies.
And the 7 countries of Yugoslavia.
And exactly. And so the end of World War II heralded a new nation states that maybe shouldn't have been together to begin with.
You think?
Well, and as someone who studied the Middle East, you have to look at the ethnic backgrounds and the various differences between people that we now recognize.
Like the Semites are Arabs and Jews.
Exactly.
They're both. And the Indos are Pakistani.
They're all Punjabis.
And Hindi.
Yeah, they speak Hindi or Urdu, but they're basically the same culture and tribe other than religion.
Yeah.
And I think that India and Pakistan, my grandfather was a provincial political leader, a writer of 16 books, and he was a freedom fighter with Mahatma Gandhi
What was
to
his
free
name?
India. My grandfather's name was Chaudhry Afzal Haq. And he was
So you teach that to your grandkids. It's not the kids so much. I like my grandkids a lot better than my kids. Teach it to your grandkids because, God, look at the richness of that.
Exactly. Well, you know, the sacrifices made by our elders
Yeah.
to have freedom. And I think that India, Pakistan, the people that wanted freedom from colonial British rule were very much in the spirit of America. The Americans that wanted freedom from the British to not be taxed and not be dominated by British rule is the same ideals that the freedom movement of India had. And they were trying to determine their own destiny. And so my grandfather, through the 1920s, 30s, and 40s, he was jailed 8 times by the British. He used to be, he was a British Punjab police sub-inspector who was in Amritsar when General Dyer killed 1,000 people with his troops. And he was...
To do what?
Well,
teach a lesson.
Teach a lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so my grandmother and my grandfather lived in Amritsar, and he was serving as a police officer at the time.
And I washed my feet and my face and my hands at their temple in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, back then, the Hindus, the Muslims, the Christians, and the Sikhs all got along with each other.
Yeah.
And I think that that camaraderie for India, Pakistan must continue to build peace between the two countries. And I think that remembering how they lived in colonial times as supporting each other as brothers and sisters.
You know, you said an interesting word, the British.
Mm-hmm.
And some people say that that's the pure breed. Actually, Great Britain is England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and sometimes Ireland. So, and there are just different strains of ethnicity that run through the blood there.
Yes.
And it depends on who designates who has worth and who doesn't. When I went to South Africa, I wanted to see where Indira Gandhi, not Indira Gandhi,
Mahatma Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi practiced law because he got his first taste of liberation protesting against the South Africans.
Exactly.
Little tiny office. Mumbai, little tiny office.
Right.
Great big movement.
Yes, well...
And he was short, I like him.
Well, those are American ideals.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think the United States is a leader for people who want to be free and determine their own destiny. And I think we as Americans in the military and in civilian life, we have a leadership role in the world to be a good example for the rest of the world and to...
Not by arms we bear, but by arms that we surround
Yes.
us. Yeah.
There's times to be in conflict to defend the country, but there's also times to use diplomacy and to be a good example.
Could you imagine Martin Luther King Jr. in a dhoti? I mean, he said his debt that was because of Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what happened to Martin Luther King Jr.? You don't solve world problems or conflict by shooting people to death. My God, he was under 40 years old.
Well, those are the principles Jesus laid out in the Bible.
Yeah.
And if
Buddha laid out.
Buddha laid out. Even Muhammad laid out in the Arabian Peninsula.
The original before it was, jihad was not originally go and kill people.
Correct. Jihad has been twisted by the fundamentalists to mean something other than what it really means by the academics. The academics have said that jihad really is about the internal struggle to be a better person. And those of us in other programs, that's what we try to do, is to be better people.
Speaking of other programs, we've got a couple in not just American Legion and VFW or AMVETs are that. By the way, I'm inviting you right here in public to join AMVET Post 8. It was Ronald Reagan's post, and I'm the commander of that post. Yeah, I didn't wear my hat.
That'd be great. Thank you.
I didn't wear my hat because I can't find it. The point of bringing in other things, there are other ways. My personal history is the outside influences, society's limitation, angers, expectations, and prejudices, exacerbate that with chemicals. It was just terrible. So I stopped them. And we have that commonality of not being chemically addlepated is an old word. We're not addlepated anymore.
Yes. Well, I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and I was influenced by the...
you were addlepated.
by the culture of the hippie generation, and I think that rubbed off in my college years.
Hold on. I think, Annette, did you just tap us to stop? Okay, Michael Balance, the sedate, quiet person, is now going to take back over.
Perfect.
We're going to do part 3.
Perfect.
So wave goodbye to your progeny, your family, whoever you want to say hi to. You're on this side of the TV, and they're on that side of the TV. Give them a goodbye.
Goodbye. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Pencil over there, Pat. Pencil over there on that seat.
Yeah.
For episode 3, because you're gonna, whatever comes up, episode 2 that you want to talk to him about. No, you're not done.
Oh,
So are you going to do them now for a bit?
And then you're gonna do him again.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, I was wanting to get into some of the travel with them. Maybe.
Yeah.
put that, make all those notes
You
over
want to
there.
undo?
Yeah. And this one's going to be called Culture Clash,
okay.
because what we have in common is high school and military. Do all the rest of it.
Perfect.
That was, what did we do, an hour of it?
No, you did a half hour.
Oh,
Yeah.
less than half.
Well, about 40 minutes.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
Could you hold that?
Yes, I can.
I'm glad you wore a hat, because I tried to cover the light reflecting off my head.
Yeah. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
That's good.
But see that section over there, Mike?
What am I looking at?
Yeah, just on the back of it, use my bookcase, but on the back of it, write any of the notes you want to do, stuff that might have missed, and tell Annette to keep, she's still rolling?
Well,
Good.
we're rolling, I'm not gonna cut it off, just, I cut the mic a little bit so there's a crackle when you put it on, that's better.
Do you need help with mic, or are you good?
Now, try to do this with a quick transition of time. You are both good. He just kicks the information out of you. You just want to talk forever. And that's good. And then Michael's got that sort of like that young, I've never been this knowledge before, so let me find out about you. That's what we need. That's what we need in dialogue. Okay, are we the same height?
Let me fix it.
I'm going to say no.
There you go.
So he needs to come down, or I need to go up?
He would have to come down. I don't know if we're going to be able to go up. There you go, that's pretty
Okay,
close.
good.
A little more or no?
Huh? No, that's
I
fine.
think you're good right there. You're not bad.
Look over and see if at least I look focused.
Well,
right.
that's what I'm trying to see. I think the color might be off when you
No,
move it.
it's always gonna be off.
We're all different colors.
Actually, it's not that bad.
There you go.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Okay. So since we're doing this in a 3-part, it's going to be, I'm going to pick it up as if I had just interrupted you. So whenever you are ready, Annette, I'm ready.
We're good, I'm gonna check the radio for this, talk for a minute, or 60 seconds.
Hi. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Test out.
Testing.
Okay, we're good?
Yep.
Okay, come bring it up on 2, please.
You're on too.
I understand that. So, looks like we're in for part 2 of this absolutely fascinating show. Welcome again to another segment of Vet House Voice as we continue. Take me up on that one, yeah. Welcome to another segment of Vet House Voice as we continue to outreach, educate, and chronicle events and activities of concern and interest to veterans, affected family members, and the caring community. If you're interested, give us a call at 916-924-1008. I have to jump in on this one because Michael did such an excellent job interviewing Art. We're going to go to a 2-shot and catch us both smiling at the camera. That one.